Many times in hoodoo, people think that work has to be done a specific way, but sometimes you have to improvise. Right now, I'm standing here before my Camellia Sinensis tree, and basically what has happened is basically is the green tea tree. The green tea tree, you get the black tea from it and two other teas from it, but I know a lot of people use it in dealing with cancer. But today, I run into a problem. If you can see this limb that was here, we have a lot of fallen limbs around here, fell out the air and broke down. And then I was already early in this tree, gonna create another tree, but because of this problem, we got to improvise. So when you're in your work, and then we had this other limb down here, right here, if you can see that, see where it got broke also. I'm gonna probably take that off and sit it in some soil and see if I can root it. But I'm gonna take this part over here, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna see if I can improvise and airlay it. And what I'm trying to teach is that when you're doing your work, don't get caught up in a specific recipe and say things have to work this way or that way. Because sometimes things happen, arise out of the blue. Like I said, we had a storm around here today, a rainstorm, and all of a sudden I come out here and I look at my trees, and here it is. It then cracked. But I don't want to just get rid of the tree right now. I could probably take the limb and put it in the ground, but I got this other air laying going on here. So today I'm gonna do something, and I'll find out several weeks from now whether or not it work or not. I'm gonna improvise. I'm gonna go through the process like I'm air laying this tree, and then in several weeks we'll find out what happens. So normally you'll cut a section out and try to work with that, but you see how that, I'm gonna see if I can make this tree root right in those two different spots there. I may not be successful, but I'm gonna try. So I'm gonna take this here substrate that you normally would have, and I'm gonna put it up in there. See if I can get between here and there. See if I can take this substrate, and I'm gonna put it around there and see if we can make this thing work, and see if we can prove that you don't have to follow any specific recipe. You have to follow what worked for you, and you have to do what is put before you at the time that you're doing it. So there, we put that piece of substrate there. I had already got it wet. I went out there and got some water at the creek and put on it. And now I'm about to take this here plastic bag that I have and put it around it, so you kind of see what we're doing here. And we're gonna see if we can make this thing work. So I'm basically air laying it, but I'm not air laying it according to our normal procedures. So I'm gonna do it just like that. If you can see it, I'm gonna have to go get another piece of that black paper, black plastic, and put on it. But yeah, we're gonna see if we can make that work. I'm gonna get another piece, but you can kind of like see how I'm doing it here. But if you're, I'm trying to show you that there is no specific procedure you have to follow. If something is presented to you, yeah, go get another piece of plastic. Give me one moment, go get another piece of plastic. I'm gonna put that on there. But I want to show people that sometimes you might be put in a situation where the process that you normally follow is not available to you. So what do you do in that situation? You got to improvise, and that's what I'm doing today. And I'm gonna try to create an air lane by improvising from a different way. I'm gonna see if I try to get right there where that tree, one limb split from the other one. I'm gonna see if I can make some roots come in that, and then I'm gonna take that and lay it. If it don't work, it don't work. But at least I'm trying. But I'm trying to teach you about this thing, hoodoo, because you got all these different recipes out there. People say, "Oh, you got to do the recipe this way. You got to do it that way." But what if the things that you need is not available to you? Or what if a situation come up where you may have to do something differently? So if you get caught up and say it can only be done one way, then you might be shortchanging yourself. But I'm going to get another piece of plastic and see if I can put it in there to see if make this thing work. So give me a minute here. So I got this other piece of plastic and some wrappers to put around it. And we're going to see if we can make this thing work, because we're teaching real hoodoo here. Because a lot of folks say it has to work this way. Well, a recipe can work many different ways. Different people have different ways of baking a cake. And we're going to see if that's what we can do here. We're going to see if we can bake this cake a different way. And just let that limb stay just like it is. But we went through what you would call the air laying process. Let's see if we can make that work and we can get some roots out of this thing over the next several weeks. And then so you can be comfortable. If it don't work, it don't work. But this is a situation that was put before us. You know, we can't say, well, I got to do it this way. Well, under normal circumstances, it may have to work that way. But what if that situation, that normalcy, is not available to you? So when that normalcy is not available to you, you got to improvise. And that's basically our message today. Is that here I was faced with a situation. We just had a rainstorm. A limb fell out of one of the trees. I come out here. My tree is split. I had already started an air laying process. I didn't want to stop that air laying process. So right there where that tree had its mishap, I tried to turn it into an air laying, and we'll find out in the next several weeks whether it work or not. And that is what I want to show you today.